Hi everyone, it's Joy here, and I'm excited to share with you how I made a matching card and gift card holder using some fun new graduation stamps and stencils. Now here is the Grad Cap Layering Stencil. There's 3 stencils in that. I have the On the Block Grad and the On the Block Shadow die, the Mini Strips Grad, along with the Mini Strips die, foam sticky circles, and the Pretty Package die. I'm also going to be using Sugar Cube and Oreo cardstock, the new Bitty blender brushes along with the black blender brush. The inks I'm using are Cherry Pop, Candy Corn, Lemon Meringue, Cilantro, Blueberry, Plum Punch, and I'm also using Oreo and VersaMark ink, and I'm also using some clear embossing powder. Now here are the stencils, and at the bottom right it tells you 1, 2, or 3. So you know which order to put these in. I have a piece of Sugar Cube cardstock taped down to my grid paper, and I'm also lining up my first stencil with the grid paper. You can see that there is a line up there. On the sides of the stencil there are some register marks, some little open squares that you can ink up so you can line up your second and third stencil as well. Now I am doing rainbow order. I thought that that would be a great design for the card and the gift card holder. I'm going to switch it up a little bit with what parts have the rainbow. So for this card panel, obviously the graduation caps are going to be in rainbow order, which is Cherry Pop, Candy Corn, Lemon Meringue, Cilantro, Blueberry, and Plum Punch inks. Now these bitty brushes are really fantastic because they are so much smaller. You really have a lot of control of where you're putting the ink. So on this design, I really want the ink colors to overlap with each other on the graduation caps. So as you can see there between the Lemon Meringue and the Cilantro ink, I have those blended together on the same set of caps. So with these bitty brushes, again, you just have much more control on where you can put your color. So once this part is done, I'm going to peel that top part back, and we are going to add the second stencil. Again, using those little register marks on the side, I'm lining up the number 2 stencil, which says on the bottom right. And this is the tassels. I am coming in with the new black blender brush, and I'm using Oreo ink and just inking up those tassels ever so lightly, not super, super dark. I want to make sure that the ink doesn't blend through this or bleed through the stencil. And once that's done, I'm going to pull that back, and we've got these cute graduation caps. Now I'm going to come in with the third stencil, and this is the stars, and I'm going to be using some Lemon Meringue ink for that, keeping it really simple. I used Lemon Meringue because it was a light color and it was not going to take away from the rainbow order of graduation caps. So using that bitty blender brush, I'm coming in just kind of light in some areas, darker in others, and that just gives it a little bit of interest. I love these layering stencils. It really makes for a fantastic card design. So now that we pull that back, you see how that looks with all 3 of the stencils. Now I have die cut from the Pretty Package die with some Sugar Cube cardstock, and we're going to be doing some stenciling on this as well. I did talk earlier about changing up my design a little on what parts are going to be in rainbow order. So on this card, I am going to stencil up the graduation caps with Oreo ink, and as you can see, my Pretty Package die is larger than the stencil, but that's not a problem. I'm just going to move that down and line it up where it makes sense and finish stenciling the graduation caps. Now for this is the envelope part that your gift card holder is going to go into. So I am using the tassels. This part is going to be the rainbow order. So I'm starting with that Cherry Pop and working my way down. Again, I just need to line up my stencil at the bottom to finish inking up for this design. I am not going to use the third stencil on this front piece. I'm actually going to save that for the inside piece. So I'm just lining that up again, making sure my tassels line up with the graduation caps. Now here is the insert piece, and I'm going to do the stenciling on this. I am taping off the bow part at the top because I don't want that to be stenciled. And so this insert piece, I am inking up the graduation caps and the tassels with Oreo ink. I want both of those to be black. And then I'm going to come in with the stars, and that part, so that's the third stencil, the stars, that part is going to be the rainbow order. So again, just lining up my registration marks on the side to make sure my stencil lines up great. And here is the final rainbow order for that insert piece. And then this whole design is so super cute, and it's different but the same, so it's a great matching set. So now I'm going to fold that envelope piece of the pretty package on the score lines. I will use my bone folder to get a nice sharp crisp edge. And then I'm going to come in on those little flaps right there with some tape runner and just fold it up. It really is super simple. And then your little insert piece fits in nice and easy in there. Now there is a die cut for that insert piece, and you're going to line it up in the center up and down. And this is going to die cut the little holder parts for your gift card. So as you can see there, it has the little pieces that open up and you slide your gift card into. I am taping off so I can ink up the bow part. I am using blueberry ink for that. And I just wanted to make sure I did not get any ink on the rest of that image. So in my MISTI, I have a piece of sugar cube cardstock, and I'm going to stamp the On the Block Grad, and I'm stamping this up twice. The first time is just going to be with Oreo ink. Then I'm going to come in with some VersaMark ink right on top of that. I did not move my stamp out of the MISTI. I kept it in the same spot. And I'm coming in with clear embossing powder on top of that VersaMark ink. I want this sentiment to be shiny, so you're going to get that effect with the clear embossing powder. I'm going to heat that until it's melted, and you know it's melted because it's shiny. I'm going to put that paper back into my MISTI. I just flipped it around, and I'm going to stamp up the other sentiment. And this is going to have 3 colors of ink: Plum Punch, Blueberry, and Cilantro inks. And I'm just doing a third of the stamp in each color, slightly overlapping to the other color. I'm going to do that one more time and stamp that down, and then you can see we have a nice gradual gradient of color. Now I'm using the coordinating On the Block Grad shadow die to cut out the Grad Sentiments. And in my MISTI, I have a piece of sugar cube cardstock, and I'm stamping up the mini strips Grad Sentiment with Oreo ink. I'm going to ink that up a few times to get a nice crisp image. And then I'm going to use the coordinating mini strips die to die cut the sentiment strips out. Now I have trimmed down my front panel about 1/4 of an inch on all sides. I'm adhering that to an Oreo cardstock mat. It's slightly larger than that front panel, and I'm adhering that to a white A2 size card base made from sugar cube cardstock. For the Grad Sentiment, I have used foam sticky circles behind that to give that dimension, and I'm going to adhere my sentiment strips a little bit wonky all over the front of the card. I'm also going to use foam sticky strips behind the Grad Sentiment for the pretty package gift card holder and adhere down that sentiment strip right underneath. Now we've got this great matching pair that any grad would love to get. You've got this really colorful card and then the fun gift card holder to give a nice gift for the grad in your life. Thank you guys so very much for watching. You can find all of these products at Tailored Expressions web store at tailoredexpressions.com.